Good evening. I'm Krishna with longer hair. Next slide, please. I want to start my presentation actually with a conversation I had with an anonymous AGM at an anonymous bank. And basically, I came to this bank and I was talking to actually there's two AGMs, and we were talking for 30 minutes, and I was telling him about my project in Rasalpura, in micro-entrepreneurship, and for 30 minutes I was talking to him about this project and what we were doing, what our future plans are, and maybe how we can collaborate. And then one of the AGMs then, like 30 minutes later, turns to me and goes, Rasalpura, right? I go, yeah, Rasalpura. So, Rasalpura, the slum community, right? Yeah, Rasalpura, the slum community. I'm excited. He knows about Rasalpura, the slum community. Wait, and you're talking about entrepreneurs. Yeah, entrepreneurs. There's no entrepreneurs in slum communities, he goes to me. And I just, in true Telugu fashion, just think, ayyo. There's no entrepreneurs in slum communities. And it made me think, what is an entrepreneur? Is it the amount of money you invest in your enterprise? Is it the amount of enterprises you have? I think it's the characteristics that make up a person that makes him an entrepreneur or her. It's perseverance, it's courage, it's the ability to take risks, it's the ability to look at a situation and see, hey, these are opportunities, not challenges. Or it's an ability to look at a pen and say, hey, this isn't a writing utensil, it's a back scratcher or a ear cleaner, as I've seen in my community. So that's what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur is Rezianti, who has a kirana shop. And she makes these little newspaper bags, and she puts all the achar in the newspaper bags, and it's packed so nicely. She's an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is Hussein Bhai, who is a jaiwala, and he gives you 2 of those plastic cups so you can do this and cool your chai, and everybody else only gives 1. Those are entrepreneurs. So yes, this is Rasalpura. This is 4 square kilometers, and in these 4 square kilometers is a 1 lakh population. So Rasalpura is, they say, the largest slum community in Hyderabad. And this year I was partnered with Bhumi in Rasalpura, and the objective was to create a micro-enterprise hub. So it sounds awesome, and when I heard it, I was like, yes, a micro-enterprise hub. What is that? It's a platform for potential and existing entrepreneurs to access resources. Financial resources, marketing support, training, information, mentorship. So what we learned about Rasalpura as micro-entrepreneurs, actually, we did a small 50 micro-entrepreneur survey. And what we found was that 70% of them do not make enough income in their enterprises to cover their home expenses. 66% of them do not have bank accounts. 23%, only 23% of them were women. I mean, this was only 50, and Rasalpura is 1 lakh. The numbers are still telling. So the reason why we then wanted to develop this hub was to give these people access to these resources that they did not know that they had available to them. So Mujib Bhai, the founder, and I, we made a program, we made a list basically. Okay, what do we need to do? 1, Krishna makes an entrepreneurship curriculum. 2, she implements the curriculum within the community. 3, with the community and the women who we were targeting, we make these awesome micro-enterprises. 4, these awesome micro-enterprises get more people to come in and also make micro-enterprises. And soon you have entrepreneurship in Rasalpura. So, next slide, please. 7. That is the number of times I failed to implement the micro-entrepreneurship curriculum to its full extent. 7. That's a lot of times to fail. And the reasons, there are many, and a few of them were, 1, my understanding of the community was not great enough to implement it originally. 2, and this was probably the biggest challenge, was that the women were not ready to be entrepreneurs. I was going in and I was imposing entrepreneurship on somebody. Entrepreneurship cannot be imposed. And so basically, what we were doing is we were working with women, mainly in self-help groups, and they lived within their homes, and they didn't have much access to, they didn't go out very much, they didn't have much access to, you know, talking to different people, or getting more information, or knowing what are the new technologies out there. So the confidence was not there. So asking them to go from step A to step Z of managing their own enterprise did not make any sense. So, next slide, please. So 17 and 25, this was our new idea. Okay, maybe we shouldn't be imposing entrepreneurship, but what we can do is skill development. So 17 is the amount of women that signed up for a jute training course, and 25 is the amount of women who signed up for tailoring and dressmaking. So, next slide, please. Of the 42, 6, or 12.5%, ended up actually using this training to develop some sort of livelihood generation. Whether it was doing tailoring in their home for their neighbors, or, next slide please, like Zainab. And Zainab, I actually called her yesterday and I asked her if I could use her picture in my presentation. She goes, "No, Krishna Didi, if my father finds out, he'll be very angry." So Zainab's picture is not up here, but Zainab is incredible. She actually, she didn't eat for 3 or 4 days properly, or so she tells me, so that her father would allow her to attend our jute training course. And she did this consistently. I guess it's her tactic with her dad, but it's effective. And so after this, actually, Zainab, she started off in our jute training course, and over time, we developed a jute cooperative. So like we manufactured jute bags, and there was only 2 or 3 of the women who were doing this with us. And Zainab was always, you know, wanting to come and sell the products, but what was very entrepreneurial about Zainab was that she'd always look and see what were the customers thinking of these bags. And then she'd come back and she'd say, "Krishna Didi, your name bag, you know, actually I think this is a better way to do it, or maybe why don't we try these colors?" So Zainab is an entrepreneur. Next slide. Actually, next. I made my slides too long. 15. So we're trying to create a micro-entrepreneurship enterprise hub. And one of the major challenges that I faced within the community was actually internal, within my own organization, was that I felt that the community, the group that I was working with, so my team, which comprised of a community leader and 4 junior community leaders. And I felt that they didn't trust me. So they'd never done anything with micro-entrepreneurship before. And for me to come in and say, "Oh, we're going to do this awesome micro-enterprise hub," and then leave after a year and then have to deal with the ramifications of my actions, it was very hard for them to trust me. And this was a huge challenge. And the turning point came actually when we were having a meeting, and I kind of talked to them about all these things that I wanted to do, and it didn't seem like they were listening, and yet they were always telling me, "Oh, Krishna, you're doing really hard work," and they were able to see some of the progress. But I broke down, and it was like big news, Krishna, I broke down. And so actually, but the next day what they did was they called so many people, and the next day we had this huge meeting with Anganwadis, with community leaders, with women from leaders from the self-help groups. And we created a committee. So the next slide, please. There's supposed to be 15. This is 12. But this is the committee of the Micro Entrepreneurship Development Committee in Rasulpura. And we've been meeting every week. It's only been 3 weeks, but we've been meeting every week. And the conversations, and I'm not propelling them at all. I just sit quietly. But the conversations are amazing. How can we bring together the women who are working in their homes together in clusters? Or how can we call the piano shop owners together so that we can maybe get them to buy their things in bulk and reduce their costs? How can we connect wholesalers and retailers? So these are conversations that they've been having, and they actually pulled together a lot of the community for, next slide please, for this mela, where we had 80 people come, which was huge for us because this is the first time anything like this has been done, or what has been done. So this mela, it was a micro-entrepreneurship mela, and the idea was, as I said before, the statistics of 70% not generating enough income, or not having bank accounts. So basically, there's a lot of micro entrepreneurs in Rasapura who are unable to grow, and they don't know that there are services available to them, such as microfinance institutions, government schemes, NGOs doing training courses. So the idea behind this mela was to connect these two groups. So we call government organizations, MFIs, NGOs, trainings institutes, and we call these micro-entrepreneurs, or people who were even remotely interested in business, to come. And so, next slide please. So this was our mela, and we held it in the government school. And the awesome thing was, actually, this is Fatima Bibi right here. She does fabric painting. And this is the first time she's ever displayed her products before. And she got up because she was so excited about hearing what all these organizations could do. And she got up and she spoke to 80 people about her products. So it was one of the awesome things that happened that day. 7. So this is the number of businesses that are currently incubating at some level in our office right now. It's from a construction cooperative to home services. Home services meaning like key repair, plumber, electrician, bringing them in a group and then advertising in local apartment complexes. And that's this guy named Nagaraj's idea. And then there's Amjad Bhaiya, who wants to do tooth powder manufacturing. So there's 7 such businesses incubating. But this is my favorite number. Next slide, please. 50 plus, and this is where I'll end. 50 plus in the last 2 months, and this is, of course, roundabout, but are ideas that have been coming into the office. So people just stopping by and saying, hey, you know, I was thinking about doing a printing press, or hey, I kind of want to do a newspaper. And whether or not they follow through is irrelevant. What's really exciting is that people are having business ideas, that the thought of, hey, maybe I can do a business, or, you know, there is an opportunity to do livelihood generation, is what's exciting. So that's where I'll end.